Hey everybody, I'm on the new map Smolensk. Been just exploring the map, looking around, trying to figure out just what I can find out in the different areas, and I'm going to make a video just kind of reporting my initial findings. I'm sure there's a lot more to uncover with the map and the different spots, but there's a few different things with just the new building models that I figured out that I thought I would share. This map has just completely new architecture, different building models compared to any of the other maps, so just really about figuring out how to utilize all of them, because they are repeated throughout the whole map. There's probably 5 or 6 building models that I'm going to talk through that I've just been experimenting with. So the first one is these like wooden houses that you can find pretty much all over the south side of the map. Now these are pretty nice, pretty easy. Anywhere that you can find this little raised stairwell, you can get on top of these. So just jump up here, you can even just regular jump, crouch jump, whatever, and then you just mantle to the top. Easy to get on top of. There's a bunch of different variations of these buildings, but anytime that they have that thing, this little like porch raised stairwell, you can just get on top of them very easily by mantling on the top. Now this is another building that is pretty common throughout the map, this kind of like warehouse that's been burnt out. You can find these especially just dotted throughout the kind of north side of the map near the railroad. So anywhere that you see this metal part of this, you can get on top of it. So some of the other sections you cannot jump on as easily, like you can jump on here very easily, and like over here, not able to get on top of. The developers have done a pretty good job with this map, seemingly, of just like putting up invisible walls, certain surfaces you can't mantle on, and it just blocks you from getting on top of stuff. But here, easily, just again, mantle to the top, and climb up here pretty easily. It's not super useful, though. Some of these buildings, some of the model are like connected to other buildings that you can then jump on top of. But you can like MG from up here and just surprise people from the little railings and get a little elevation. So this is something that's kind of interesting. There's these pipe models, like kind of raised, whatever these are, at different points in the map. Like on their own, they're not super useful necessarily, but you can climb to the top of them, and when they're near other buildings, sometimes there might be options for interesting stuff. So at this railing part of it, you can just crouch jump, just kind of crouch jump up the top of it. There's again different versions of this. I keep falling, but you get the idea. You can crouch jump all the way. There we go. And so, like, again, in and of themselves, not super useful. I'm just super visible, but like when you can jump off of them onto other things, maybe a little bit more useful. Just something to pay attention to. I haven't found any particular uses for that yet, but again, you can just get to stuff that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get to possibly when they're near other buildings. So getting more towards the middle of the map, there's this kind of white building that's been blown out. This is super common throughout the whole map. There's like a million of these in the middle of the map. Different variations of this building. You can, for this one, and this is probably the most common one that I've seen, is this version of it. But for this one, you can just kind of do a crouch jump onto the railing here to get to the next level. Again, not super useful. You can mantle up here. You can also mantle over here. These are, pretty good MG spots, I've found. Like, you can MG from here. There's some of them at the far end of the map on the north side. Somewhere over here, I think. Yeah, I think these ones. Where is it? Yeah, like here. You can get up here and just look down into this area, and it's pretty good visibility for an MG. But again, I have not found a way to get to the next level of these. It would be nice to be able to get to the top somehow, But again, the developers have done a good job of putting them very up high, so I have not figured out a way to kind of get up to the side here. Like there's like a lot of invisible walls, and you know, you can try to do like some jumping mantles or something, but it's difficult to think of a way to get any higher than that. But even just getting to that next level can be pretty useful, especially for MGing or surprising people. Another building model that you'll find commonly throughout the map in these middle buildings is there will be this, whatever this is, wardrobe dresser thing blocking off the stairwell. Now there's a couple different versions of this. When it's pressed against the wall like this, I have not found a way to get past it. Like you can crawl up into here, you can even get on the stairs. I have not found a way to get through this. You can try to like jump across to the other side, but I have not found a way to get through. You can even think about trying to mantle probably, but there might be some options for that. I'd have to experiment more. But I have not found a way when it's pressed up against the wall like this to get past it. However, there are versions of the same kind of wardrobe thing where if it's not pressed against the right wall, you can get around it. So crouch jump, second crouch jump, and then you kind of just wiggle through the top here and you can get into the next room up. However, there's not much to do from here. Again, it would be nice to be able to get to this top floor, but I don't see any obvious way to do that unless there's some kind of invisible wall we can prop ourselves up on or something like that. You can jump through these windows, and one time I was able to crawl along the windowsill a little bit, but most of the time when I try to do this I just fall down. So you can kind of try to like get along the edge here, and I think right here you kind of fall. Maybe I can jump. No. So there might be ways to crawl along the windows, but even if you can, the problem is that all of these other open windows, there's like an invisible wall. So even if you get up here like with a buildable or something, like there's an invisible wall that doesn't let you through, and there wouldn't be anything in there anyway. But it is kind of nice to be able to get up to the highest floor past the the wardrobe dresser thing. You do get some pretty good angles looking down into the street from some of those high buildings. Another building model that you'll find is this kind of warehouse in the train station area. Looks promising, right? Like it would be really cool to be able to get up to the top of this. However, it's very hard to get up here without an assist from something like these boxes. So, or a buildable, right? So I have found that with these boxes, you cannot mantle onto the just flat part of the roof. However, if you get here, you can do a sort of side mantle midair. If I don't fuck it up. There it is. So once you get up here, though, there isn't much to be done. Again, invisible wall blocking you off. It feels like you're so close to being able to like mantle to the top of this, but you can't quite do it. There's a few different versions of this where there's like a pipe coming out the side of it, and maybe there's options there, but I have not figured out a way to get to the top of these yet. It looks like maybe you could get on here, but there's no collision with the windows. Like you're just, again, not quite high enough to be able to mantle easily. So I have to keep experimenting with it. But yeah, it's hard to imagine. Maybe with a buildable, that new, the ammo depot is pretty high up. It's possible you could use that or something, but had to experiment more. But even just up here, it's not a bad spot necessarily. You can surprise people from up here. You can MG, you know. It's not terrible, but it would be nice to get a little higher to the top of that for sure. So here's an example of using this pipe structure. Again, when it's near something else, it can be kind of useful. You can crouch jump to the side of it. Just crouch jump again to get to the top. And then using the height, you can try to jump to other things, get on top of something like this. So again, like useful kind of just bridge structure to get on some other stuff. Once you're up here, I'm sure this is probably a good MG spot. So here's another version of the like train warehouse building. So again, once it has stuff near it, there's ways to mantle on top of it. So there you go, can mantle here. This one in particular, which is kind of near the fourth point, I don't know what it's called, but the fourth point over here for access. It has this pipe near it, so you can do a jump to get on top of the pipe here. And I have not found a way to jump up to the next side. It feels like you could almost do this sort of jumping mantle onto the corner, but it doesn't look like you can mantle here. Like I keep trying to do some kind of version of like a mantle. It's either I'm not getting the height, it's probably that it's too high to jump from there, or it's just that they have, you know, the developers have just made it so you cannot mantle onto the top there, which is also possible. Either way, something to experiment with, but I have not found a way still to get to the roof of these. They also have grain feeders, but they're not the same model that they use in other maps. It looks like they've purposely taken away the sort of wooden part that sticks out that would allow you to jump onto the top of them. Again, you could experiment with these models, but it looks like they've again purposely sort of removed the parts that you can mantle on. So without a buildable, it doesn't look like there's probably an easy way to get into these, though it's possible. Again, maybe there's a trick. I have not seen what it would be. You used to be able to sort of crouch mantle up to the top of these, but that doesn't work anymore. So one interesting thing about this bridge too is that they have these train cars, and it seems like there's this invisible wall, like you're not supposed to be able to get inside of them, but for some reason they don't have a roof and they let you get on top of them. Like you can MG from these, it's not like a good spot necessarily, you're very exposed. Maybe surprises some people. It's just kind of weird that they have no roof and yet they put this invisible wall to not be able to get inside of them. Not sure what that's about. Maybe there's a way to use these to get on top of something else. I have not seen anything yet though. And that's about it, guys. For this video, just wanted to share my initial findings about the different building models. Like and subscribe if this content is interesting to you. And oh, look, there's a tree that you can climb on. Yeah, I'll make follow-up videos if I figure out any new spots, new powerful stuff. Yeah, appreciate all the support.